strictly wireless, or will be very shortly. I think there's one sector up there that's not. And so we have 3 mobile labs in this building. So the student wanted to the teacher wanted to do some sort of a computer exercise, a lab exercise with the students in their lab. We're doing that now. Small. They're adjacent, and they're small. The photo room is, you know, got sinks in it, you know, for developing film, cabinets, you know, runners for hanging up the film, but it's just a small thing. See that room right there? Maybe about 3/4 of that room, each one of them is.
And we don't use either of those anymore, right?
Yeah, we do.
Photos?
Yeah. We don't have a photo, ceramics, within our art thing, Heather introduces each one of those within the studio art. So they do use those. They use the reels, they fire it up. It wasn't as much as when we had a ceramics class and a photography class, but she still introduces those into her studio and art classes.
So they're still using film?
Yeah.
Okay.
Not a lot. I'm not going to go any more. It's not a lot.
But the transition to digital.
But there is a benefit to black and white film, and there's something that Heather teaches about that within her art classes. But those don't have any windows or anything. You can't make those in the classrooms.
Right.
You said that the cafeteria was very small. How would you work that if you had extra kids in it?
What it means is, you know, I'll be starting lunches early, and lunches will be going late, because I'll have to have 5 lunches.
How early is early?
Well, you know, it depends on how you build your schedule. I mean, when you bring 7th and 8th grade up here, it would be very, very hard to maintain a modular schedule. We would have to go to just a traditional schedule, an AB traditional schedule, and then we would, you know, because you have to mesh them together, and we would have to do that. I mean, it would be lovely to do mod schedule because you get more flexibility in it, but I just can't see how it would happen. I just can't. You agree, Jim?
But Jim, also in your schedule, there's some programs that Mr. Lawton has at the middle school that could be moved up here, for example. If the 7th and 8th grade up there, technology could be moved up here to meet the requirement. And
I would do it by semester.
Right.
I wouldn't do that. He does quarters from 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. We wouldn't do that anymore. We would just do semester 7th and 8th, and then we would put them into this.
There could be an anticipated program change in some area.
Correct. It wouldn't reach down to the 5th and 6th grade. It isn't required to. What it is that you're required to have 1 credit of not a high school credit, but just 1 credit of technology or art.
By the time you exit 8th grade.
Yeah, and I have to learn more about that too, because you know I've been in the high school mode, not really in the middle school mode in a long time.
And family career, a home ec,
Yeah.
I think it's 3/4.
Well, for that one, I think we just do a full credit on it, do it by semesters, because it gets complicated if you start going in quads.
The foreign language could be brought up here to 7th and 8th.
Correct?
Currently, you don't know.
Correct.
So, I mean, there will be some subtle program changes also.
What's this going to do to class sizes as far as, I taught 8th grade, and I love the kids, but they're squirrels. And they really need to have lower class sizes than those 2 grades.
Right now they have 4 rooms for 7th grade, and I created 4 rooms for 7th grade. Each one of the 4 subjects, and really a 5th room if you include the local, for their core subjects. So I kind of took what they already have and put them in there. And I think with the enrollment numbers that we have coming up to the middle school, dividing them by 4 amongst those 4 rooms will be very, you know, and I think it needs to be done. I mean, any more, you know.
A question on your comment that you probably wouldn't be able to maintain the modular schedule. What kind of impact do you think it would have on the high school kids? I remember going through this modular schedule a few years
It'll
ago.
be a schedule-driven schedule instead of a student-driven schedule. Okay, you won't be able to offer as many options options as we
posting
can.
and stuff like that.
Yeah, and it'll curtail what you can offer. It'll, be a more, streamlined or mundane, I don't know what word you wanna say, high school mentor.
Do you think you're going to see, and I know it's hard to probably project, but do you think that this is gonna cause an impact on graduation success, or getting the kids from the 4 years, without having to like into that 5th year to pick up credits because you don't have the flexibility?
Well, I never had a problem with credits, but if we go to a different schedule, obviously we have to lower the credits. And you probably won't have 9 blocks, you probably have 8 blocks, but I try to get an 8-block schedule. Now classes will go from 60 minutes to maybe 45, 46 minutes. We got 46 to plug in right now. I don't have lunches right now. Lunches are ugly. Right now I can work out lunches. We have mods of 60 minutes, after that's 30, so you just break it in half and you got your lunches. The teachers have their lunch. If I have anything under, if I take 46 minutes and I break it down to 2 3-minute lunches, we used to have 20-minute lunches at one time. If I broke that down to 23-minute lunches, I still don't solve the problem because the teachers by contract have to have 30. So that doesn't work either. So that's something that I have to really work on. That'll be the next step to this whole process is what schedule we implement, how we can accommodate it, how we can create lunches.
I assume you would need like an assistant principal or some other administrator.
I would think that, here's the thing with my time. With the new APPR coming in, my time is gonna be pretty booked with the evaluation process. Now you're not only doubling, for me, it would be doubling the evaluations, you're gonna double it again because you're bringing all those teachers up from the middle school where they were 7th and 8th grade teachers. So now they'll be under my tutelage to give evaluations. So to answer your question, any help that I can get, obviously the more people you pack into a building, the more issues you might have. It's only speculative, but I'm sure that's the case from my experience. So I would think that we would need to increase the dean's time, create a half-time AD position, or look at what we can do within our administration to help that particular scenario out, without a doubt.
You may need more people in like study halls, cafeteria, if you have more kids in there.
Yeah, I think it'll be about the same.
Okay.
I do, because you're bringing the staff up along with that. You're not taking 7th and 8th grade and packing them into the same staff that we already have existing. If you're bringing the staff up proportionately that would do that, then you should be able to handle it. The way this thing is working is we're simply taking a lot of space that was used for district space and now converting it back to high school space. And that's what we're trying to do. But as far as the you know, and then you have, you know, an 11, 12-year-old